going to be a part. For instance, these are grids. So these are going to be, this is actually Preston. His names are not on there. And this is going to be a part, 9924. This one is Cullen. Cullen really doesn't buy chemicals, so I know that what it is. So that's kind of what you're looking for there. I'm going to go ahead and go through the rest of these, and then we'll come back. Okay, here's an example of one that's a combination, where C66 is a part, and then this 2-ounce reagent is a chemical, a reagent, and then here is muriatic acid. So for this, we need to break apart the parts and the chemicals. So it's pretty easy on this one because there's only one part, which is $7.91. So what I'm going to do is, first off, this one is Brian, and my part was $7.91. So I'm going to write $7.91. And then if my formula was on there, weird, then it's automatically going to calculate what the amount is for the other. So then I go ahead and I could say, oh, it's $21.19 because it had calculated that for me. So that's an example of one where it's a mix of both. So let's see if I can find another one. Lorenzo, this is only one item. Let me see if I can find another one. This is another good one to show to you. So this one is a chemical, instant pool water conditioner. However, we are selling this chemical directly to the customer. That's why we can do it. But anyway, so by selling this instantly to the customer, it doesn't need to go on Brian's chemical numbers. So we can write it down as a part. Basically, think of it as something that we're selling. It's a direct relation. It's not included in their service. Then it should go in as parts. So this 2568 is going as a part for Brian. All right, so here's another example of a mixed invoice, which most of them are going to be. So you have this part, and then you have this chemical. So the part is going to be 908.66. So 908.66. And then over here it tells us $9.32. So $9.32. We don't have to pull out another calculator. We can utilize this on the side to help us. Okay, when you get to one like this, that it was a return, and it's $0 in here, there needs to be an amount in here. Just like the very first one we did where we added it, we need to have that. So it says 85.80, which is down here at the bottom. I'm not sure why it's separated, but that is what this one is. So just be aware that sometimes the credits can be really funky on here, and you have to look around for it, because what I was doing was I was pulling up this receipt and I say this is 85.80, and I know that's my return that was down here. So just a heads up that the credits do not come across when you copy and paste, because they have them down as a $0 because $0 is due. Okay, so we've entered all of our SCP and allocated it to everyone. So we want to come over here to our SCP total and see if that matches 16,928.69. So we want to see if that matches what our total was, and let's see if we can find it. Goodness. Okay, so we're going to have to go back to our drive to pull up that receipt. There it is. 16,878.84. Okay. And this says 16,928.69. So something is wrong. And right off the bat, I see this one is red, which means that it doesn't have allocated correctly. And we have this one that has that credit that's still standing out there. Okay, so this one was minus 85.80, oops, 85.50. Now that's zeroed out. And then we have this one that we didn't catch earlier. So let's go look that invoice up and figure out what it needs. Okay, after making those two adjustments, making sure nothing was left on any of them, it comes out to $16,878.84, which is our total. So the next thing that we would do is we would go and do the same thing, but with FWP. And then the next part that we're going to do, we're going to leave FWP alone for just right now because for direction-wise, it's exactly the same. But we're going to go ahead and do the next part, which is actually allocating from the office over to what we've checked out to the office to the text. So we'll go ahead and look at that. That's on our weekly sheet. So you're going to pull up your 2022 weekly chem sheet. And we want to allocate these things. We're doing March. But these chemicals that we have over here need to be allocated to the text as well. So it's saying that Chick did 1408.87 in chemicals. So those were chemicals that were the office's chemicals that needs to be allocated to Chick. Okay, so what we're going to do is this one's, you can do it as SCP or FWP, it doesn't matter. The total was here. Oops. I'm going to copy that. And when I paste it, I want values only. Okay, this is Chick's. It needs to be allocated to Chick, and what it is chemicals. So 1480.87 are all his, and now see that made his chem numbers go up. But it originally was the office's. So basically what we're having to do is transfer it from the office to Chick. So we've allocated it to Chick, but we need to minus it from the office. That way, basically, we're transferring it from the office to Chick. And yes, this will be negative, and yes, it will have a number over here, but just go ahead and leave that. So we're going to go to the next one. The next one was Cullen, which is blank. The next one after that is Drew. So we're going to go ahead and post our numbers. Remember, values only. And this needs to stay the same, whether it's FWP or SCP, but it does have to stay the same. All right, Drew. And Drew is going to get $250.72 in chem costs. But that means we want to minus those chem costs from the office. Because the office really didn't buy that, we transferred it to Drew. So you keep going down here with all these examples. That's what you get if you cut and paste. You don't want to do that. You want to go to paste special values only. And this is Lorenzo. Lorenzo is, that's his total. And then we need to go to the office and deduct it. They should always be balanced so that they can do it. Now, when you have done this, completed, you will notice that your total is still 0 because the amount that the guys are taking versus the amount deducted from the office is a net 0 because all we're doing is transferring it from who we're allocating it to. So it does not change the actual balance on your account. Okay, that's very important. And we're just going to keep going until we've done all these. Okay, I've entered all of them for all the routes over here, and you can see that my balance is still 0, which means that all the ones I entered did not affect it. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to go grab FWP's numbers and plug all of those in and allocate them just the same. Once I'm done with doing that, then I'm going to print. And when you print, you're going to choose specific things because we want it to be able to print on a page that it matters. So first off, I'm going to cancel this. And we want it to make sure it says the correct month up here because sometimes we use these over and over and the month doesn't get changed. So I want to see this summary and I want to see my 2 graphs. And that's the first page that I want printed. So I'm going to go over here, choose my selected cells, And then I've got just this, and it prints out on one page, looks great, wonderful. So I'd go ahead and print that. And then once I'm done printing that, I'd come back and I want to print just the sides that are filled out, because this goes for a long time and I don't want to have all these that are zeroed printed. So I'll highlight just the ones that we filled out and go ahead and hit print. And again, selected cells, and it's not going to print past all that extra stuff. And I'll go ahead and print that. Then you'll staple it with this March summary on the top, and you'll go ahead and put that on my desk so that I have that printed for review. This has to be done each month before the before the company meeting, preferably completed by the first week, because the route meeting or the company meeting is the second week, but I need time to be able to look this over, change these graphs if I need to, all of that kind of stuff. So I just need it done before then. That is the invoice breakdown for SCP and FWP.